Here we go. Hey everybody, it's Tim Hinton, the Beast of the Marching Arts, and I am here with Lee Vandergrift. Lee Vandergrift, how are you?
I'm well, and yourself?
I'm doing great. Thank you for stopping everything on a Sunday to have this conversation with me. I did a blog post that's out right now. If you go to marchingartseducation.com, click on the Beast blog, or go here on Facebook. There's a link to it on my profile. Anyway, I talked about how people need to have a decent professional photograph of themselves. And what happens is every time I do a podcast or a webinar, I ask the guest, send me a photograph of yourself that you like. And I get all kinds of different things. And sometimes people have nice professional photographs of them in their concert attire, or even just a good picture that they've had professionally taken. Sometimes it's a really good picture that someone's taken of them somewhere, but sometimes it's just like a really, really unprofessional sort of bad selfie where they've cut off somebody standing next to them or something. And so I want to talk to you as a professional photographer. Why does somebody need to go to the trouble to get a decent photograph?
Well, working in the professional field of photography and doing a lot of like real estate portraiture and headshots for business. I've done a lot of work with Microsoft for their companion with LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is, professional business site where they want you to look as business-like as you can. So they like a white background. They like good lighting. And this is a representation of yourself as a business person, as a, professional in your field of, expertise. And so, that's sometimes the only reference, especially in this age of, podcasting video. That's all you have is that image to say, this is who I am. So, I usually recommend people not to wear anything too patterned, that might make it look busy. Just nice solid colors, good lighting, fresh haircut, no spinach in your teeth. Nothing with advertising on it unless that's what your business is. If you're, in a lawn maintenance business, you still need a good headshot. You still need something to say, I'm a professional. I'm not just, out here mowing the yard and all sweaty, which those are fine. Those are good, but those are also something that needs to be done professionally. So
I'm glad you mentioned LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is the place that most people start now to look for you, which surprised me. I would think they would be like me. Maybe they go to my website or even on Facebook. No, most people, if they want to find out about you, they often start there. So it's important that you have some sort of professional shot. And again, it doesn't have to be like a glamour shot. It doesn't have to be you looking super serious, but a professional needs to take it. So Lee, of course, as I mentioned in my blog post, everybody will check out my blog post at the Beast blog at Marching Arts Education. That's where I was talking about this week. When I do the podcast, when I do the webinar, I get all kinds of photographs from people. When I say, people want to know what you look like, can you send me a picture I can use with the publicity? But the problem is a lot of professionals in my activity in the marching arts do not have a decent headshot of themselves. Everybody should have one. Why a professional though, Lee? Why don't I just ask a friend to snap a picture with my iPhone? My iPhone takes really good pictures.
Well, I'm not gonna say you have to. So a lot of the things people are afraid of is the cost. But much like any type of, business, you've got to put a little money into making yourself look as professional as possible, whether that be designing a logo or, any of those things. I mean, hey, if you have a friend that's a graphic designer and can design a logo for you for a very low cost, that's great. If you have a friend of yours that's a photographer that may not say they're a professional photographer, but they just like to, they're good at lighting and that stuff, get them to take your picture on a white backdrop. That's all you have to do, and make sure that your lighting is good, just so it's the best representation of yourself. But it's just, you don't have to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars to do this. But I would say, because a lot of times people ask me, what do you charge for headshots? And I usually recommend that you wear a suit and tie, depending on your line of work, maybe a nice polo, something more casual, because it really does depend on who you're marketing your business to. If you're, a lawyer, then yeah, you're going to want to look like a lawyer with a suit and tie and ready to go into court. If you're, somebody that's selling suntan oil and has a, suntan hut, at a restaurant or a hotel or something, then yeah, you might want to be something more casual, like a nice polo, but you still want to look professional.
Right, but the nice thing about having a professional do it is you can do all those shots. I can have a picture in my picture in my solo and a casual picture that I want to look good on Facebook or even on a dating app, like whatever you need it for.
Exactly.
But the thing is, a professional will have good lighting. And I can tell you, Lee, the thing I love about you when I watch you do a photo shoot is you put the person at ease, and you tend to have you have a special way, I think, of getting somebody's personality in the picture. So everybody, if you're very nervous about, I'm going to stand in front, I'm in a studio and I'm going to stand in front of a photographer. What happens if it's a good photographer? They will put you at ease. They will relax you. They will help you sort of relax and start to take good pictures. The first ones you take may not be good. You're going to take a whole bunch.
Right.
But eventually you're going to get some really good shots, and you can have it in every different thing, but you need good lighting. You want to put your best face forward.
Right. And another thing that I highly recommend that people don't do is go overboard on the Photoshop. If you are, and I also think that it's very important that you update your photos on a regular basis, at least once a year, at most, every other year, because your hair is going to change, your face is going to change, things are going to change. I used to work for a company, government entity, and a lot of times the people that I was having to photograph did not like having their photos taken. And they were like, just use my photo from 1986. It's like, when you were 30 pounds lighter and had a head full of hair, that's not representative of who you are now.
But even if you think I don't like the way I look, or I always look awkward in photos, that's why you need a professional photographer, because they can find a way to make you look your best. And you need to spend the money. And here's the thing I tell people in the blog, talking about blog post that I did at the Beast blog, everybody, about why you need to get a professional photograph taken. Talking with my great friend Lee Vandergrift, who's a great photographer. Lee, people spend money on an outfit to wear to work, to wear to a conference, to look good at concert attire, whatever. They're spending money on that. They're spending money on a good haircut. But you need to spend a little bit of money. It's worth it, the investment, to have a really good photograph of yourself. Like I said, people will send me photographs to use for the podcast, and I'm like, first off, it doesn't seem current, and it's not well done. And again, you don't want it to look fake. You just want it to look good.
Well, and again, readdressing the issues of our technology nowadays, even in Zoom meetings, when you're not on video, you usually have a little photograph representing who you are. So, you don't necessarily want that photograph of you in a tank top at a theme park with a group of people that you've somewhat cut out. You want a professional photograph of yourself to represent when you're not actually there to represent yourself. So it is a visual calling card. It is a visual business card to say, this is the person you're dealing with on the other end of the computer or phone, or, and it's just, like I said, that, you're going to spend anywhere from, say, $100 to upwards to $500 on a good headshot. I don't charge that much, but anywhere between that range, and you should be able to get at least 5 or 6 good shots from those pictures that you can use for whatever you're going to use them for. But whether it be a Christmas card, whether it be a business card, whether it be your Zoom meeting identity, these are things that it's just, this is the way we're working nowadays visually.
Right.
So
we're talking about my Beast blog post right now about why you need to have a professional photograph taken. I'm talking with professional photographer Lee Vandergrift. And listen, everybody, you need to spend this money. You need to do it. I will tell you that I will do the same thing everybody else does. I will go to LinkedIn to look somebody up, or I will go to their website. Or if I'm working with a band, I'll go to their band website. And first off, there's another conversation about how your website needs to be well put together. There's a podcast about that, by the way. But like, if I go to if I go to the band website or your organization's website, and there's your picture, it needs to be current and it needs to be good. It's an impression. It's an impression you're giving me. Like when you said on LinkedIn, even on like you said, the Zoom photograph, you're giving me an impression of, all right, are they being professional? Are they going to the extra mile to actually have a professional photograph of themselves? And as I said before, if I'm in a photo shoot with somebody and I'm going to spend the money, then I'm going to say, take some of me in a polo, take some of me in a tank top. Like, I can use these in all kinds of places, on Facebook, on like I said, dating apps perhaps, or anywhere where you want to have a photo of yourself where you look your best.
Right. It's just a calling card. That's how I look at it. And this is, you're putting a face to a name. And I can't stress it enough, especially in this day and age where we're not having a lot of face-to-face connectivity. It is, who you are. It's like, this is me. This is, this is, the lawyer you've hired, or this is the, lawn guy, or whatever, the photograph is going to be used for. And it's funny because a lot of times people know my name, but they don't really know who I am until they see a picture like, oh, you're that, photographer guy. And so I just try to use, with my my work as much as possible, a good headshot.
Well, and I love it when I see friends on Facebook and they will have had a photo shoot with their family. And I got to tell you guys, this is money well spent. You want to be able to chronicle what your family looks like right now, whatever your kids look like, your other half, whatever it is. Take the time and spend a few dollars. You'll be so glad that you have these good images in the future. It's totally worth it. And Lee, like I said, if people are afraid of getting their photo taken, they don't like the way it feels, they're worried about how they're going to do. I never look good in photos. That's why you need to hire a professional. If they're good, right, they will put you at ease.
Exactly. And I also, it's funny because a lot of times when I get, somebody in my studio, they're nervous, and I do not recommend alcohol for a photo shoot because that's just not a good idea.
Not the right. Relax.
But I always let the subject know that, the first few frames that we're taking are just test shots, to get my lighting. And even though 9 times out of 10, I'm really just taking pictures, but I let them know that, so they're not like so self-conscious. And also, having somebody to talk to you, ask you questions, make yourself feel comfortable. I always like to ask questions of the subject, what's your best physical feature? Who do you look more like, your mom or your dad? These things, so I can kind of get an idea of who I'm photographing, what they think is their best feature, what, just what they do for fun, anything to make the subject feel comfortable. This is one of, I think, the most, like when I have young photographers come and ask me like, oh, I want to, tutor with you and find out more about photography. It's like the first thing I say is, if you're photographing a person, it doesn't matter how great your lighting is, how great your subject, your location or anything like that, how technical you are with the camera, is if your subject is not comfortable, it will show. It will show in your picture. So try to get them as comfortable as possible. And I've almost resorted to, like when you take a little kid to, Olin Mills to get their picture taken, like a little stuffed animal, whoop, whoop, like that, like, that way it distracts them. But anyway, so.
But I will say, Lee, I think you're great at this. Like, I've seen you do photo shoots many times, and you're really good at just starting a conversation, putting the person at ease, and you can even see it if you look at the progression of the photographs that you're taking. You can see where they've relaxed, and I love it when you get them laughing, you get them more comfortable. Then you start to get their personality. Everybody, right. This is why you need a professional photo. You need one because this is your calling card, as we've said. But then you need to hire a professional. And listen, we all have friends who have had good shots taken. Just ask them, where did you get this done? Who did you contact? Everybody knows somebody that has a good picture, even if it's on Facebook or if it's on their website or it's on their LinkedIn, whatever. Ask them where they got that, and then hire that person. Spend the money like you spend the money on a good concert attire or even a nice outfit to wear somewhere. This is money you have to spend as a professional. I don't want to like throw anybody under the bus, but I often will ask somebody for a photograph to use for a podcast or to use for a webinar publicity. And sometimes they just send me these really terrible or outdated photos. And I'm like, okay, everybody, we need to do better. Wrapping this up, Lee, what would you say to somebody in closing sort of about this whole thing?
Just take the time, find somebody. and have a consultation with them before you even decide to do it. Find out who they are, what their, you know, how much they cost, what's included, how many shots you're going to get. If you're going to get the, you know, actual, all of the photographs that are taken, you know, just do as much research as you can. That's it, basically. And I like the idea of, you know, asking somebody that, hey, I really like that picture you took. Who took that? You know, find out, because there are a lot, especially in the Central Florida area, there are a lot of really great photographers out there that to work with, that I would recommend. You know, I'm always telling people, it's like, yeah, you should work with this photographer. He's great. You know, I'm not just spelling anything from me, but it's like, you know, if you like my work, you'll love his work. So
yeah, wherever you are, there's somebody that can do this for you. Ask your friends
yeah.
in your area who've had these photos taken. Where'd you get this done? Who did you talk to? And of course, if you're in Orlando, look up Lee Vandergrift, because I think he's awesome. Lee, where would they find you?
Well, at leevandergrift.com. I'm also on Instagram as Lee Art Guy. Facebook, Lee Vandergrift. Yeah, so it's pretty easy. You can just type in Google at Lee Vandergrift and all my stuff should pop up.
And as I mentioned on my blog post, everybody will read my blog post at the Beast blog at martialartseducation.com. The one out right now is about getting a professional photograph taken. As I mentioned on that, the photograph that I use on Facebook, Lee, I don't know if you remember this, but you were getting ready to do a photo shoot and you said, I need somebody just to stand there and so I can check my lighting.
Lighting.
I was in a comfortable t-shirt. I was sort of scruffy, but I just sort of stood there, and then you got this great photo that I really like. And so if anybody looks at my Facebook, Lee took that photo of me and sort of I was just standing there like, I didn't know I had the smolder going on that day, but
disgruntled at the fact that you were having to get your picture taken.
It's
you're not
that's a good look for me. Apparently disgruntled, and I have other things I need to do. It's like a great look. But anyway, Lee, this was fun talking to you. Everybody get a professional photograph taken. Lee, thank you for taking time to talk to me today.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Really appreciate it. Have a great day.
You too.